I usually start these by saying in theaters now, but this was in theaters now, and unfortunately where I live, Indian films tend to only play for 1 week. So by the time you hear this, it is either on streaming or out of the theaters in most parts of this country. Well worth checking out though. This is a film called SARFIRA. It is directed by Sudha Kongara and stars Akshay Kumar, and this is, okay, I go into these movies not knowing anything. I have this viewing plan where I pay per month and I don't have to pay per ticket. So I like to see as many movies as possible. And I really love Indian cinema, and I'm learning as I go along more and more about it. And mostly what I do is I see the thumbnail on the website for the theater and I see what the genre is. And if it's action, musical, comedy, romance, I'll go. If it's a drama, I have to know a little bit more about it. Sometimes there'll be films that are about, a winning cricket team, and I don't care about sports, or they're about the race to create a vaccine, and I'm like, I want a little bit more lightness in the films that I go see. So this one, I think, incorrectly was listed as action. So I said, oh, it's Akshay Kumar. He's great. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. And the poster is the picture of a face, which tells you nothing, and that's okay. And it says action. So great. I love a good Indian action film. So and so it's so incredibly rare that I see an Indian film that I don't enjoy. So I go in to see this, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, the opening is kind of like an action sequence with a plane that's low on fuel, and it has to land, and there's a guy who hops on a motorcycle, and he's telling all the air traffic control is telling him, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. All the air traffic control is saying, you can't land here, you can't land there. And he's saying, land at this other place, and there's the military, and they're going to shoot it down, and what's going on? I'm like, oh boy, I'm in for an action movie. Well, it turns out this isn't an action movie. This was very good, but it's not an action movie. I was misinformed. It will not be the first or last time I'm misinformed. This was a fact-based drama set between 1998 and 2023, I believe, based on a true story, and as they say in the film, true stories of Indian aviation. This is the story of a man of simple means who has a dream of bringing low-cost airfare to the people of India, to all people of India, in the belief that by bringing airfare that is affordable to people from small villages, it lets them see the world. It gives them what they have been denied up to this point in their lives, or generations of lives. It gives them opportunity. This is a severely inspirational film. Like, I was getting misty watching this movie. It's just about a good guy with a dream who just keeps at it because he believes this can happen despite government sort of in the pocket of a big airline bigwig who sort of controls the airline industry there, not wanting him to succeed, not wanting the competition, disbelieving that he can do what he can do, and then maybe when they disbelieve a little less, deciding they're going to make sure he can't do what he can do because they want every piece of that pie. It is funny at times. Indian films, I have found, this is speaking as a person who's relatively new to the genre, they tend to give you oftentimes a little bit of every genre. They're very entertaining no matter what the genre is. And people are put off by the running time sometimes. Westerners are put off by the running time because this is a 2.5-hour film, which at this point, Westerners are getting pretty used to 2.5-hour movies when they involve somebody in tights or a cape. So they're long, but they're never dull. I don't think I've ever seen an Indian film, and I've now got a couple dozen under my belt, that were not entertaining and interesting every moment all the way through. It's amazing. So I don't have a lot to say about this. I don't want to give much away. Performances are excellent. There is a musical number or two. That's a thing that a lot of Westerners are not used to, is the characters suddenly bursting into full-scale MGM musicals in the middle of the film. Lately, I've seen more of the films that I'm seeing from India don't do that. They tend to more be musical montages in the middle of a film. This one had both, and it's really effective. It's a good movie. It's kind of a root for the underdog, stand up and cheer kind of movie. If you like aviation, there's plenty of that in here. And it's just really good. It's a shame that these films are really only put into theaters here for very short periods of time, but they all tend to work their way to the major streaming services in America. I believe I was giving a friend a list of Indian films to check out recently, and I wanted to see if they were streaming, and they all were between Amazon Prime and Netflix. So write it down. See if you can find it somewhere. If you're in India, hey, how are you? Hope everything's going great. If you're in another part of the world where you can see this, you really should. This is SARFIRA.